Hey YouTube, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to go over 3 tips to help you pass the LSW exam and the LCSW exam. Stay tuned. Okay, the first tip that we're going to go over to help you pass the exams is number 1, taking a PTO day if you schedule to take the exam on a day you have work. And the reason why we want to do this is so that, our mind is mentally focused on the exam and nothing else. Because especially for the type of work that we do, being social workers, it can be mentally exhausting, draining, and we don't want to necessarily have to have that type of weight on our mind, being at work, managing what's going on with clients. And then let's say if we have the exam scheduled later in the day, if we're working earlier, then the exam scheduled later in the evening or maybe even at night, have that on top of us as well. So we just want to give and especially when we don't want to be rushing anywhere, if we're rushing to the test site. So if you schedule the test on a day that you're working, try to have it scheduled on a PTO day. So that way when you wake up, your mind is clear, you're not thinking about anything else but passing that exam. And just to add on to that a bit, if you have other responsibilities, like let's say if you have children or just again, other responsibilities that you normally take care of on that day, try and see if you can, utilize your support system to kind of help you with those responsibilities, or in a couple days prior or the day before, see if you can get a head start on those things. So that way, again, your mind is clear, you blocked off that space. So that way you could just focus on taking the exam to put you in the best position possible to pass the exam. And that stems right into tip number 2, which is playing to our strengths. Now, what I mean by playing to our strengths, are you a morning person, afternoon, evening, night person? When do you feel most awake, most alive, most mentally alert, present in the moment? For myself, I'm a morning person. So when I schedule my exam, I purposely scheduled it in the morning. So that way when I wake up, I have time to just kind of review the notes I created for myself, and then I can get right to the exam. But for you, let's say if you're more of a afternoon, evening type of person, right? Where you like to kind of wake up, take your time, kind of ease into the day a bit, play to your strengths, right? We don't have to reinvent the wheel. That way you're comfortable going into taking the exam and you feel most prepared, which puts you in the best position possible to pass the exam. And tip number 3, don't sleep on this tip. What you eat impacts how you function. What you eat and drink impacts how you function. So with that being said, we want to make sure that we have a solid meal, right? One that's going to replenish our strength, our energy levels, and not leave us, with the itis, dragging, laggy, feeling tired, right? Because this is a 4-hour exam. And while we definitely want to make sure that we have the food to be energized throughout the exam, we don't want to overdo it where we feel bloated and our mind is being distracted and taken away from the exam because we're focused on the physical of what's going on. Again, if we feel bloated, feel just tired, we have the itis, whatever's going on. And we don't want to also eat too little where now our stomach's growling throughout the exam, and that's taking away our mental focus. So we want to make sure that we're eating foods that provide us with energy and the right time frame before the exam. And because I know everybody's different, everybody responds to certain foods differently, I encourage everyone to not experiment the day of the exam, right? Because we don't want to experiment with certain foods and everything, and then we're like, it didn't work out for us so much on the day of the exam. So while we're studying for the exam, let's say we have the exam planned 2 months out, while we're prepping for the exam, if we don't already know those foods that can kind of rejuvenate us, keep us energized throughout the day for a couple hours, that's when we can experiment. For myself, I had, I believe, egg whites, banana, and some like a protein shake or something like that. And I also want to throw this out there as well. Be mindful of consuming liquids right before the exam, because although we're allowed in most test sites bathroom breaks and everything, we don't want to take additional bathroom breaks because we just consumed a gallon of water right before we went into the testing site to take the exam, because we want to have as much time as possible. So again, just being mindful of that, where we may say, okay, we're drinking water, let's do it, let's say an hour and a half or whatever the case may be before we actually go into the testing site, and using the bathroom before we go into the testing site. Because again, we're allowed bathroom breaks in most testing sites, but we don't want to have to go to the bathroom additional times because we just consumed a lot of liquid. So being mindful of that. And I also know that some testing sites allow snacks, like the one I attended in New Jersey. They allowed for you to bring in a snack. I brought in an additional banana, which was helpful just to kind of replenish those sugar levels and everything. But again, being mindful, knowing yourself, knowing your body, how your body responds to certain foods. We don't want to overdo it or underdo it. So while you're studying for these exams, if you're unsure already, just kind of experiment a little bit. Try the healthier foods that seem to kind of keep you energized for longer, so that we have the energy needed to get through this 4-hour exam and put us in the best position possible to pass these exams. And I'm gonna throw in a bonus tip for you guys. I know I said 3 tips, but I'm gonna throw in a bonus one because this actually just popped in my mind while I'm recording this video here. Wear comfortable clothing. you know, this isn't the time to put on clothing that looks really good, but it's not the most comfortable. Like for myself, if I was gonna wear a full piece suit and go in there, it's I may look real nice, right? But hey, sweats, hoodie, like whatever, a nice shirt, like whatever will do for you, so that way you're comfortable when you're taking the exam. And I know some of the testing sites could actually be really cold and some could be a little on the warmer side. So my suggestion is bringing in like a light jacket, so that way or a hoodie, because if it is a little on the colder side, it's like, okay, I already had the jacket, I can just slip it on, I'm good to go. Versus, let's say if we just went in there with a shirt and we're like, oh man, it's a little cold in here because they have the AC blasting or whatever the case may be. So bring a light jacket and wearing these comfortable clothing so that, again, you're in the best position possible to pass these exams, because we just don't want our mental focus being taken away on something that it doesn't need to be taken away, right? All of that stuff is an afterthought. We want to focus on the exams, going through it, breathing, make sure we read it thoroughly, reading the answer choices thoroughly, and then answering appropriately. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with a friend. In the description will be links to some of my socials and website and all that great stuff. And stick around, because I'm definitely going to be pouring out more videos to help you guys pass the exams. And again, I say this in all my videos, but you guys got this. Like, I know especially we've been out of school for a while. It's like, oh man, I'm studying and just doing all of this and all of that. It's like, breathe, you got this. Don't try to take it all on at one time. Block out that time you have to study. Really focus on that time you set aside to study. Make sure we're mindful of it, studying consistently, and believe in our system. And when we go to take the exams, we're going to put ourselves again in the best position possible to pass. And then after we're done with our LSW exam and LCSW exam, it's over. No more exams, we pass. So you guys got this. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye.